What does it mean to perform under pressure in the work that you do?
In real estate, things kind of ramp up. And you have to be able to see far enough in advance so you kind of alleviate the pressure when the ramp up happens. And it comes with experience. But you handle things that you know are going to come, so they're not a last minute thing, and it's not as pressure filled.
Mm-hmm.
But when there is pressure, because inevitably, usually, especially in a closing or something of the like, there's going to be things that you couldn't anticipate. And you just have to deal with them as they come,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that you don't drop any balls.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really falls to being well organized. And I think that's the most important thing. Is if you're well organized, then pressure won't feel as bad because you'll know exactly what you have to do.
Give me a couple of examples.
Let's see. We were in the midst of a bankruptcy,
Mm-hmm.
and this was my first bankruptcy. It wasn't ours. We had owned a loan, and we had assembled some other creditors to put the debtor into bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
And this was my first time going through that. I interviewed 8 lawyers in order to arrive at who we were going to use eventually. I mean, lawyers don't want to do things for free, but they'll give you an interview. They'll talk to you for a half an hour. And so the reason why I did interview 8 lawyers was because I wanted to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to see into the future
Mm-hmm.
of the things, the angles that I was going to need to take if the debtor took one angle or if the debtor took another angle.
Mm-hmm.
And, had I gone into it just because I hired the first bankruptcy attorney I found, and didn't know what was coming down the pike, then there would have been more than pressure. It would have been, I've been fired. But it was because I went out, understood it, made sure I was well organized in approaching it,
Mm-hmm.
and then was able to execute.
Mm-hmm. And what was that moment when you needed to execute?
Well, it was never too much pressure because I really had good enough general understanding
Mm-hmm.
of where the process was going that it wasn't a great amount of pressure. There was one thing that maybe hinged, and I would be able to quickly understand,
Mm-hmm.
but because I kind of was well organized in advance,
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't as much pressure along the way.